Hello, everyone. My name is Jeff, and this is the Promised Neverland episode 11 review. With me, as always, are Jake and Torie. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks
Hey.
for having us, as always.
Yep,
As
glad
always.
to be here as always.
As you always say.
Good one. Yeah, got my main crew here. Never changed.
Never Kobe.
Who the hell is this Kobe you keep talking about?
What even is a Kobe?
A Jacoby.
Define Kobe. I don't know.
I mean,
All I see is a picture of a guy who is very lanky and probably likes movies. I don't know. He has that look, but I don't know him personally. So.
Sounds like a guy who just comes up with crazy theories.
And likes everyone to die, and for shows that take a dark twist. Anyways, speaking of dark twists,
Oh my
how about this
gosh.
show with the twists?
oh man, this show, man.
Yeah, we got another hot episode to discuss, so if you don't mind, I think we should just jump right into it.
No, I wanted to talk about something first, really quick. Just
Okay,
really quick.
go for it.
So, I don't keep up with the comments as much as some of our other nerd blazers, but somebody commented about me last week mentioning how I thought Norman was the more main character than Emma. And I just want to say I went back and watched all the episodes, previous episodes, up until episode 8 when he became the main focus because he was starting to die, you know? And Norman has more scenes by himself than Emma. I didn't count the scenes when they were talking together. So he just has more talking scenes. And I honestly thought he was going to live longer than at least Ray. So I'm just defending myself, okay? That's all I wanted to talk about.
Because I saw that comment as well, and I thought it was weird when you said it last week, but then I kind of realized that unless you're like really focusing on like the advertising campaign of it,
Posters and all that.
like if you
And
just
the intro. I rewatched the intro, and that's what made me be like, oh, yeah.
if you're paying attention to just the story, I totally get how you could think that Norman is the main character.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I was one of those. I was on the side of the commenter. I was like, "Ha ha!" You got called out. But no, yeah, I totally agree. Because Norman is definitely more of the active character than Emma is. Emma's very passive. She just kind of goes along with the plan, but doesn't really make a plan, except for this episode.
Yeah.
This episode, she
Oh my
really
gosh.
takes things into her own hands. So, anyways, this episode starts off from where the last episode ended, where it is the night before Ray's execution, essentially. He's about to be shipped off. It's nighttime. Ray is singing alone in a dark room, creepily saying goodbye to the house, and Ray approaches him. And so some things are revealed. For instance, it's been 2 months since we last saw Norman, essentially, and Ray and Emma have been basically constantly monitored by Mom, which means they haven't been able to communicate at all. So, we were kind of theorizing, like, was there anything going on since then? The answer is yes, but not necessarily between Emma and Ray. And Emma said that, hey, we've been slowly building things up over the past 2 months. And, the way she's able to do that is because she's constantly monitored, other people are able to kind of take on the burden of the different tasks they need to do in order to escape. And Ray's like, oh, you mean like Dawn and Gilda? And Emma's like, yeah. That's not the whole story. So, anyways, Emma says they have enough food and warm clothes and supplies that they need to escape tomorrow in the afternoon when they're all playing in the park, just before Ray gets shipped off. And Ray's all like, no, it's too risky. I have a better plan. And he opens up a box, and it's a bunch of barrels of oil, essentially. Well, not barrels, but
Gasoline, right?
Yeah, gasoline. Yeah, it's a bunch of gasoline canisters.
Why would they have those? Where would he get those?
I'm assuming this house doesn't run on electricity. I think it's all gas heated and stuff
because
they have
the oil lamps and stuff.
Yeah, the oil
Okay,
lamps.
okay.
They have lanterns like that. So it's probably to heat up the house and use the appliances and all that. But anyway, so yeah, he has all this gasoline, and he's like, I've got a better plan. Why don't we light the house on fire, and that'll distract Mom. And while Mom's distracted, everyone escapes. We seal the door to her little hideout so she can't communicate to the outside world. And she's going to be so, preoccupied with putting the fire out that it'll be the best distraction, and they can leave at night. And they can throw even more. Apparently, he has Molotov cocktails stored behind
Where'd he get
a rock.
those?
Well, you make there's something you make, and that's something you get.
Oh, that's true.
Very impromptu bomb, essentially. But he's stored up Molotov cocktails throughout the years, And he says, we're going to use these Molotov cocktails to make even more fires on our way out. And since it's nighttime and since, it's just a fire and she's not able to communicate with anyone, no security will make their way out.
And that was also to help get the younger kids who are always in mom's room.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so mom is always watching after little kids at nighttime, but with the fire, she will have to go put it out, and then they can bust out the little kids. So that's his plan, and he's like, all right. But then Emma is like, well, just because there's a fire doesn't necessarily mean she's going to, stick around here, And then Ray's all like, I got the perfect plan for that. And he just starts pouring gasoline everywhere, and then he pours gasoline on himself. And then he goes full crazy.
Ooh.
At this point, I'm mouth agape. I'm just like, what's happening? What?
I know.
Yeah.
This whole plan was explained to us in what, the first 5 minutes or something?
5 minutes, yeah. Very, very
and then
quickly.
he just ends it with pouring oil on himself. You're
Yeah.
like, what is going on?
And Ray, he goes full on crazy. He's like, haha, I always plan to die. It's been 12 years. They can't have me. They can't eat me. I'm a human. I'm going to burn myself and fuck you, demons, and fuck you, mom. That's, my summary of his speech, essentially.
I mean, it's accurate.
It is.
And he's all like, well, Emma, it's been fun. Thank you for everything. And he lights a match and drops it. And he gets set on fire, and the whole room's on fire. And, mom is tending to the little kids.
Wait, can we, talk to this over? I feel like we can't.
Sure. Oh, yeah, sorry. Let's talk about the episode so far.
Okay.
So up to this point, you guys are freaking out, and I actually, when he started pouring gasoline everywhere, I was like, he's gonna put gasoline on himself, isn't he? And sure enough, he did.
God, he's so twisted, man.
And then they started applying that the crazy face technique that they were so artfully using with Sister Crone, and applied it to Ray.
Mm-hmm.
Now Ray's got the crazy face, and so the whole time he was basically planning on sacrificing himself.
His whole monologue there is something that I just really loved, and it really resonated with me, because he's like, oh, I knew, since I knew what was going to happen, I worked hard to be smart, because I don't like the studying stuff.
Yeah.
I worked hard for it, so that way I could take it away from them as my only act of defiance. And I'm like, I get it. I'm all about it. I like this Ray guy.
Good on you, kid.
What it's hard for me to comprehend, because when I was a 12-year-old kid, even when I was a 6-year-old kid, I never had these deep thoughts of how to stick it to the man and overcome all these challenges. And to remind you, I was never in this situation.
What if you knew you're going to get eaten by demons?
But I guess, he figured it out. But I don't know. It's just he's so vengeful and smart and, has this drive that he's willing to kill himself just to protect others. That is just so hard to fathom that it could be possessed in someone this young. I don't know. It's just
It is anime.
It is anime, and it's written by adults who think that way.
Well,
but still,
I mean, yeah. Most anime characters are if not this age, only slightly older, high school age.
Sure.
And they're all the bravest people ever. I mean,
Plus, they're Japanese, so they do really good in school.
Jeez.
They're tough.
They're smart.
They are goddamn tough.
Yeah, well,
With the
by the
cram
end of this
school.
episode, you were like, man, we're just dumb. We're like,
Yeah.
we never. Well, I would have never thought that they would light the house on fire to escape.
Yeah, it seems so obvious
Mm-hmm.
looking back at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So far, this episode, I don't know. All I can do is praise the show for always ramping up the tension and the action and the suspense.
Did you think Ray was dead there?
Ray is dead.
Ray was dead right there, right? You thought so, right? Or did you think there was some tricks up his sleeve? And all the sleeves?
I think we can discuss that later.
Okay.
But the only thing I will say, though, that kind of threw me for a little bit was he said the whole plan. He's like, I'm going to light the house on fire, and we're going to seal Mom's door, and we're going to leave, and blah, and all that. And then he just does it. He's just like, all right, let's fucking do it.
That's true.
So, the one thing is well, don't we need time to seal the door? Because
I took that as he already did it.
Oh, you think he already did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Definitely possible.
But he mentioned that there were Molotovs that he made that you could throw out and, distract the guards or the people that are there so you can get out. But he didn't tell them where they were at. He didn't, communicate that much to them, I'm assuming.
Did he not? He said they were behind a rock, I think. That's about it.
Yeah, he
Must
just
be his
says in the
favorite rock.
forest.
Yeah,
He's like, Don can find him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
In the forest. Oh, I know where that's at.
Oh,
I don't know.
perfect.
Yeah.
Such a specific location.
I don't know. It did seem kind of reckless that he would just do that right then and there and be like, all right, there's a plan. See ya.
Yeah, yeah. But, it was still effective in making me feel tense, So, yeah, the fire starts, and Mom is tending to the little children's, and midnight strikes, and she's all like, happy birthday, Ray. And that's when she
Goodbye.
hears a scream, and Emma is screaming Ray's name from down the hallway. And of course, Mom's freaked out. She's like, oh, shit. And so she goes down the hall and opens up the double doors. And sure enough, there's Emma on the ground calling for Ray, seemingly behind a huge inferno in the room. And Mom even smells something like burning flesh. And so she looks at her tracker, and sure enough, confirmed, there is a dot past the flames and a dot next to her, which is Emma. And so she's like, all right, I gotta put this out. So she
Really quick though, when she pulled out the radar, that like at first I was like, Ray's not dead, like he's not dead. And then she pulls out the radar and it shows him in the fire. I went, oh my god, Ray's dead.
I know. I did that too. I was like, oh my god, he's there.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is where I started getting my suspicions up. Was just Emma, because like,
yeah, that's true.
it was like. And again, I think this is more a testament to the animators. When Emma was calling out for Ray and she looked, distraught, I think she didn't look distraught enough. Like, I would have thought that she'd be like fucking bawling her eyes out. There weren't even any tears, but she was just like, she looked convincing, I guess, to Mom. But like to me, it's like, man, I know you would be way more sad if Ray was actually burning in a fire in front of you. So yeah, I think that's just a good. That's a shout out to the animators for being able to subtly animate her to where there leaves some doubt as to whether or not Ray is alive or not. But yeah, and also I think that's the first time we actually get a good look of the pocket watch.
Yeah.
And it's actually pretty accurate. Like, it shows you kind of exactly where they are.
But the radius is much smaller than what I imagine it was.
Well, that's the thing. That's what they showed us, but I wonder if there's a function to kind of zoom out.
Maybe, like how pocket watches have that knob to change the
time.
The time.
Yeah.
You can use that to change the distance, the radius.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, because I was always under the impression that it would show you kind of like the general location of where everyone was. So I would assume, like, if two people were in a room, you wouldn't be able to see where they were exactly in that room. You'd know they'd just be in this general area. But according to that pocket watch, it was just like Emma's right next to her, and that was reflected in the pocket watch, and Ray's somewhere out in the fire, again reflected in the pocket watch. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how advanced that tech really is. I just thought it was less advanced than that. That's all I'm saying. But anyways, Gilda runs up and is like, hey, what's going on? And Mom's like, hey, please get everyone out and get the kids. And then Mom goes back, comes back to the room with a fire extinguisher, and she starts extinguishing the fire, and she's like, as long as I can get the brain, that's all I give a fuck about. I just want that brain.
Dude.
So I think that pretty much reveals that, yeah, she really does not give a fuck about these kids. I was thinking maybe she does have a genuine care for them, but she, I think, is squarely on the side of the demons, just from that line.
Well, in regards to what we thought last week, that Norman was still alive, if they were going to not keep Ray and all she wants is the brain, do you think that they would have kept Norman too? Or do they want just Norman's juicy brain?
Well, actually, now that I think about it, like, I guess you can also see it as Mom kind of salvaging a bad situation. Like, true. Ideally they want the brain plus everything else, but I guess the brain is the most delicate part of the body, so as long as they can preserve that, it's fine. I don't know. I guess it's...
Well, something here that, like, stuck out to me is because the entire series, like, I've been thinking that Emma is supposed to be that meal for that, like, that special meal that they've been preparing.
Mm-hmm.
But Ray says, like, he's like, I'm the thing that they've been wanting for, like, the past 12 years. And so then that's why I thought, like, oh, maybe Mom's offer to Emma to be a mom was legitimate, and they are having a plan for Norman for something else. and Ray was supposed to get killed.
So Ray was the meal.
Yeah, so Ray was. So that's what I thought when she went. Like, if I can get that brain, the demons aren't going to be pissed off at me.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. Because up to this point, I was assuming that they were all slated for a special meal. But yeah, I mean, if she was offering a mom position to Emma, then why would the other two? It's possible the other two are not slated for a meal. And yeah, and Ray would be the one if Norma was kept alive. So. That's an interesting theory.
Yeah. I mean, I completely forgot about the special him, the special guy that is supposed to get the special meal.
The top demon.
Top demon. Yeah.
So yeah, Mom, tries to extinguish the flames in vain, and she turns around to Emma, who used to be next to her, and she's Emma. I assume Mom was going to tell her to like run away, but Emma's already gone. And so Mom instantly is just like, oh shit, something's up. She checks the pocket watch and finds that she's right down the hallway, and which it leads her into the washroom. She looks into a bucket, and there is her ear.
It's so obvious. So obvious.
Metal as fuck, though.
I know. Totally. Dude. God, your ear? Ugh. And,
imagine how that would be.
And I'm surprised that, because they don't show any, sedative or morphine or anything. So when you hear Emma scream, help, Ray, Ray. I thought she would have, been, screaming because her ear was cut off, right? Because they had to have cut it off at the same time. I would have fucking screamed my head off if my ear got cut off.
Yeah, that's probably what she used to fuel her acting.
Maybe.
Was that, because I think her ear was already cut off at that point.
Yeah, because you could see her head ducking down as she's screaming.
Yeah, she has that's what I was trying to remember, if she had her head in her hands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they did, and I think as far as I remember, they only showed her face from the right side, which was opposite of where her ear would have been cut, which is kind of very, very clever. So yeah, and instantly Mom gets this look of she gets super pissed, and then we get the whole plan. We zoom out, we see everything in full development. Actually, no, they start escaping, and then all the kids meet up and all that. And we find out that Ray is alive, and he has his ear cut off and all that too.
And all the kids are all packed up and ready to go.
Yeah, and all the kids are like, yep, they got their backpacks on and they're running. And at this point, I'm like,
what the fudge?
I guess they know. They must know at this point. And obviously, they reveal everything, starting with Emma catching the match just before it hits the floor, which is, her athleticism at play.
She says, nice catch.
Nice catch, yeah, to herself. And her leg is all fine. I forgot, I don't know if I mentioned that, but she's completely fine. Then everything is revealed. So, essentially what happened, after Norman left, Emma receives a letter and the package that Norman had from Dawn and Gilda. And first things first is, in the package, we see 2 keys, right? We see 2 keys? Or is it 1 key and the indent of another key?
It kind of looked like the indent, I don't know.
Like that's the shape of the box, right?
Yeah, the shape of
the box. So it's a key.
Mm-hmm.
And then we still have the pen, or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we know what that is yet. But so that's what's in the package. It's just a key and a pen. And Norman also left a note for Emma. And so Emma's just kind of reading it out as we see scenes of things unfolding. And essentially, Norman's like, yeah, so Ray's gonna kill himself. And he's gonna try and set himself on fire. He never meant to escape with us, because he said that everything he did was to keep him and Emma alive, which was several episodes ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so Norman picked up that he didn't leave himself in that equation. And it's revealed that, not directly, but I think pretty much directly, when Norman looked behind Ray's bed and looked under the floorboard, that what was underneath that floorboard was probably all the canisters of gasoline.
Yeah, that's what I was assuming.
And so that's how Norman kind of connected everything together, that, hey, he's going to kill himself, and it's probably going to be in the night before he gets shipped out. Don't let him do this. Here's the plan. And so he must explain a plan to Emma. And another important flashback, a little mystery that's been solved again, is at one point, very small moment in this show, Emma and Norman are discussing something in between, hanging these sheets. And we don't really see what Emma says to Norman. I actually completely forgot about that scene.
I forgot about it too.
Yeah.
And it turns out it was Emma's idea to tell Norman, like, hey, we should tell more people other than just Dawn and Gilda. Even though it's risky, it gives us more of a chance to escape because it's like pretty much the only, and it'll catch Mom off guard because she'll only be focusing on the older kids. And then Norman's like, yeah, okay. He basically agrees to that. And then we see more and more scenes of like, we see another layer of that scene when Norman and Emma are talking to Sister Crone by themselves in the room. Donna Gilda and 4 other kids are actually like waiting outside, letting them listen to her admit everything, which I thought was super cool. And then after that, I guess apparently they just start telling more and more kids. And even though Emma was pretending to give up, she was secretly giving out orders to all these kids. So they essentially have like this little army of children doing all this stuff for them.
It's interesting to think back when they talked to Sister Crone about the questions they asked her, and then Sister Crone was questioning, like, if they already knew these things, why did they ask me them? And even like when we were discussing it, we were like, oh, maybe it was just to confirm, or why did they ask these questions when they already knew it? Well, it's to let the kids know what was going on from an actual adult.
Yeah, this is a big twist in my opinion. Like,
it's super good though.
Yeah. It's so like obvious too. I think because it's like, but the show does a good job of kind of trapping your mind in a certain mindset. Like you don't even think of things outside of the rules that the show sets for you, because the show says, okay, these are the kids, they're only going to work with each other, and then it just blindsides you and it's like, nope, just kidding, the kids are in on it too. And that's just, I don't know, that's brilliant in my opinion.
So what I want to know is maybe I should go back and watch last week's episode with Norman leaving, see the reactions of the kids, because they would know what's going on and what's happening.
That is true.
Oh yeah, because there's that one girl who's like crying like super bad.
Yeah.
And so maybe she knew too, and like Norman played it off as like, I know you'll miss me.
Yeah, here I go. But yeah, and this is a very good testament to how strong all these kids are. Because they set up the idea that, oh, these top kids are the only ones that can save all the kids, but
who can keep a secret, stay under pressure. But
again, the show is trying to I feel like the thesis of the show is like you got to trust the people around you to get out of a bad situation. Even the kids that you think are not strong enough to handle it. Like Dawn and Gilda were kind of like a lesson that the kids needed to learn. Like, hey, we can actually trust other people for them to be able to escape. Because now they just trusted all the kids and started telling them everything. And I thought that, I don't know, that's cool. It's encouraging. All these little kids who are like, yeah, we're gonna get eaten, but it's okay. We're gonna go collect the food and the boots and stuff.
They're gonna fight back. And especially, I appreciate that Dawn and Gilda have been, even though they didn't really show scenes of it, which I would have liked more, but them taking charge of this while Emma and Ray are in the backside. It's good.
And then they run off to the wall, and we don't see them scale it just yet. But Ray says something like, hang on, is this everybody? And then we cut to a scene of Mom standing in front of the burning house, and she has something next to her. And doesn't that look like the radio to you guys?
It is.
Yeah, which means she was able to get through the door.
She probably broke the door, maybe.
That's what I was thinking, that she broke the door, but she didn't get enough time to make a call, so she kind of just like ripped the radio out of the wall to like use like somewhere else. So like she was trying to think of her next step.
Yeah.
When I first saw that scene and she says it's burning, it's all burning, I thought she was on the phone talking to someone. Okay. But it makes sense. Well, it's not connected.
She's just monologuing.
Yeah, she's monologuing.
And she's all like, and then she starts giving off an evil laugh because she's the evil person, She's like, ah ha ha! I will get you, kids. I won't let you escape.
She says they are alive. Yeah, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, exactly. And then we see Phil, who's talking at her.
Oh my god!
Phil!
And Phil is still there.
What the hell, Phil?
And Phil's like, Mom, what's going on? So yeah, that's the end of the episode. That's where it ends off. Yeah, what did you guys think?
Oh my god, Phil! I am. Is he the spy Is he the spy, or did he just get left behind? I don't know.
Poor Phil. Well, oh, go ahead, Jake. Sorry.
I was gonna say I can't think of why he's there. Like I've been thinking about it all day. I'm like, why is he there? Is he? I'm like broken right now, just because I'm so shocked to see that there's still a kid there.
Yeah.
And not only that though, because remember the part of their plan was to distract Mom long enough for them to get out all the babies. But there was not a single scene of any babies being transported out to the door. And I mean, they had backpacks on, so maybe the babies are in the backpacks.
I mean, there's 37 kids, and we didn't get a shot of all 37 kids.
Yeah,
so.
but I don't know. I feel like that's a really important detail that I think they are reserving for a reason, and it might be part of why Ray at the end is questioning like, do we have everyone? Like, so do you guys think Phil is the only kid left behind though?
I think so.
I think Phil is the only kid. All right, I'm gonna try to whip a theory from like thin air right now.
That's our Jake.
Yeah, that's yes.
Always whipping up a theory.
Me. This is a classic thing I always do. I think that Phil is like a designated stay behind person.
What?
So, well, not to like sacrifice, but to get Mom to like go towards the gate or something, because they know, again, their end goal is to get to the bridge. So I think that the gate would be an easier way to get the babies to the bridge instead of them climbing up the wall with a baby. So like their goal is to make Mom think that all of them headed to the wall, but in reality they're going to use Mom to open up like the gate to them to get out.
But isn't the gate connected to the headquarters? So if they go through the gate, wouldn't they have to go through the headquarters too?
It seems like they have to go through headquarters anyway, just the way that the wall is built.
So, okay, this is again a little bit of my confusion with the wall. So the whole complex, which includes the headquarters and the farms, is a hexagon, right?
Yes.
So then I understand that as like they can just scale the wall. So once they scale the wall, they walk along the wall until they get to the bridge part, and then they just drop down directly onto the bridge, and then from there they escape the whole complex. Isn't that right?
I mean, that's assuming that they can jump down and there's no guards there.
I'm assuming they're going to bring rope and do some rope things.
I don't know.
I think isn't the bridge the bridge part bridge part of the hexagon is the headquarters part, right? So
yeah.
So even if they were on the wall, they're still right next to demon headquarters if they jump down to the bridge. So,
and if there are demons next to there, or even next to headquarters, and they're nowhere near the bridge to jump down, only a few of them can make it before they start, I don't know, killing the kids or attacking them or trying to get after them. So I think they have to use a different way to get through than just scaling the wall and walking along it.
Maybe. I don't know. I guess that's possible. But yeah, I don't know. I've been trying to think about it too, because there's no way that Emma would have let him be left behind, because she's all about like, no man left behind. She wants to escape with everyone. So there has to be a really, really good reason for him to be left behind. Go ahead. Or
he wasn't left behind. He was with the group and separated on his own.
Because Phil is the son?
Yeah. So,
you guys think Phil is the son?
One of our commenters who's read the manga said that there was a hint last week who was the son, and I
who was her kid?
Who was her kid? I didn't pick it up, unfortunately. But is it Phil? Is Phil her kid? Well, he says mom, which they all call mom, but could it be mom because he's his mom? Like mom?
My actual mom?
Yeah.
I mean, another kind of darker possibility, which I don't think is likely, but I'll just say it anyways, is like maybe they found out he was a spy or something, and they're like, all right, you're not coming with us.
Well,
but I don't think they would do that.
They made that point early on when Norman asked Emma, if one of our fellow comrades is a traitor, would you turn their back on them? And she said no.
Yeah, so that's why I don't think it's likely.
I like your theory, Jake, but I don't think they would use Phil as the bait. He's so small and tiny.
It's perfect.
But they've talked about before about how he's got that, like he's got the high scores.
High scores, and he's advancing.
And he's pretty, yeah. So like if you're going to have like a kid who's going to seem like he doesn't know what's going on, you're going to want to go younger, right? And you're going to want the smartest youngest kid. So I think they go Phil. Like, because you can't set up Dawn that way. You can't be like, okay, Dawn, trick.
Hey, Mom, what's going on here? I'm completely in the dark with all this. How about we go to the gate and talk it over?
How about we go over there to that gate over there?
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Yeah. So then you think they would have Phil lead Mom to the gate, unlock the gate, grab the children, but they wouldn't have...
Sprint through the gate?
But the children wouldn't be in the burning house still.
That would be really fucked up.
That would be most fucked up. So the babies must be with them currently, right? They have to be, or left.
They must. They're either in their backpacks or there's, because again, we don't see all the kids, so we see maybe a fraction of the kids running to the wall. And I guess now that I think about it, I think that's an actual representation of how many kids are going to the wall. I think that's all the kids going to the wall, which means there's another faction of children, maybe being led by Dawn and Gilda. Were they part of the ones running to the wall?
We never got a shot of them really.
I don't remember if they were part of them going to the wall, but if they're not, then maybe Dawn and Gilda are leading a separate faction of kids that are hiding the babies.
Oh, there you go. And they're the ones who are going to scale the wall, distract the guards, and then Phil's going to leave Mom to the gate to open it, and so that the baby kids can get out.
Yeah, so there's 2 months worth of planning that basically we skipped over. And so everything from here on out, it's limitless possibilities at this point, especially coming from Norman, because this is essentially Norman's plan that they're implementing. But yeah, Norman could still be alive. I don't know. We see the ghost of Norman cheering on Emma. Or is that the real Norman? He walks out of the forest and says, hey, nice job. Then he walks back to the forest.
Oh.
Now back to my home.
And then what about the key? What do you think the key is?
The key to the way out. I don't know. The main door, maybe.
It's probably the gate, right?
Well, you mean the gate that they're trying to get Phil to open? Or the gate past the gate? Because I'm assuming there's another one.
Well, they wouldn't. Would you think they would have a key to the gate past the gate? Because they're never allowed to leave.
But I think because it's Sister Crone's key. So
That's true. Yeah.
I think maybe the plan is to get Mama to use her key to open up that first gate, ditch her, and then be like, oh wait, and then they have their second key to like open up another gate.
I guess that's true. She had to come in. So.
And then there's still the question of what's in that pen thing. What could that be? Another key? Well, you thought it was like a letter opener.
I thought it was a letter opener.
That's what they used to cut their ear.
But there's also a first aid kit that would probably have something that they could use.
Also, they cut off their ears without any anesthesia.
Yeah, what the heck?
These kids are metal.
They had a determination. That was their anesthesia.
You got grit, kid.
I know.
They got chips on their shoulders. That's what they had.
When Emma's running out before she has time to patch it, she's just holding her head as she's bleeding out.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess it's also the adrenaline rush of it.
That's true.
That would probably really, really dull the pain.
Emma also had her like knee broken like a couple months ago, so she's probably like, I'm all about this.
Endurance. Well, I guess that's it. Unless you guys want to say anything else.
Well, let's go back. You guys thought because you said we'd come back to this. When Ray was burning himself, did you think that he was dead?
Not until Mom showed up with the radar. Like, because I was like, she caught it. This is a hoax. And then she got the radar and she was like, he's in there. And I'm like, oh my God, he's dead. And then I thought, oh wait, did they cut off his ear and just light that on fire?
There was definitely a moment where I was like, oh shit, this show is really dark now. But once I saw Emma kind of crying for his name, that's when I started to get my suspicions.
I don't know. When he threw that match, and I was like, there's no way this match can go except for fall down. Like, Emma catch it that
about
fast?
Emma's athleticism.
I did forget. She broke her knee, but apparently it's all better. So she can run fast enough to catch a match from falling before it even ignites anything. But yeah, I
nice
thought
catch.
He got burnt up to crisp. I was like, whoa, God, goodness.
Yeah, and I think this definitely kind of supports the idea that Norman's not dead either. Mm-hmm. If you don't see a corpse, there's no dead body. Then that means there's no dead person.
That's true, because we did see Sister Crone.
She did.
Connie.
She hella did.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Okay.
I do have one last thing.
Oh, go for it.
Just because we kind of got confirmation from that one commenter that like Mom's kid is a character in the show. Mm-hmm. Do you guys have a like final guess on who that is? Because I feel like the reveal is going to be coming up soon.
Yeah, my bet's on Phil. I think it's Phil. I don't know who else it could be.
I mean, they've only really introduced a handful of kids in their names. So, unless it's just a nobody in the background that they haven't really paid attention to, it either has to be one of our main kids or Phil.
Yeah, they're going to choose a new character, Albert. Hey, guys.
Well, they introduced, like, the 4 kids that they told first, and they're listening to the door.
Yeah.
It's like,
hey, I'm one of the 4 kids.
Or something like that, yeah.
I'm changing my idea to Norman.
Okay.
And that's why he's, like, spared. Or, like, that's why she's like, come over here. And so I think that's why he's alive, is that she couldn't, like, she has a softer spot for him.
Or maybe it's kind of like a hereditary thing, where if you're a child of a mom, you get to be groomed to be a leader in the new society, or something like that.
Makes sense. But if he wasn't smart, if
he was just dumb.
Then
like,
again,
she was like, oh, he's a bag of rocks.
Yeah. Let's try again.
If you have to have perfect scores and stuff to even be considered to be a mom, that means that your offspring's more likely to be smart too, right?
Oh, true.
All the smart people are breeding.
It's a gene thing, yeah.
But then what about all the other kids? Like,
they get eaten.
If they're, I don't know, because there's so many kids. There's 37 kids on this farm. Unless everyone's just then when we found out that, you know, if you're a mom, you get to have a kid, you get to notice that a lot of the kids look like Emmas, like baby Emmas.
That is true. There was at least 2 other kids that have orange hair. Mm-hmm. The same orange, the same shade of orange.
And the same,
like the new baby has
facial structure.
The new baby almost looks like a baby Emma.
Yeah, exactly. Totally. So maybe there's only a few select humans that are producing these babies. But still, there has to be some dumb people for just producing food, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's the other kids. Mm-hmm. It's Don.
They're the Dons of the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good theory on Norman. But let's see. But, okay, if Mom is 31, she would have had to have Norman when she was, what?
19.
19. That seems a little bit young for...
Yeah, and how old was Sister Crone?
Age.
Sister Crone was 26.
Yeah, so I feel then that you'd have to be at least like 26 then to have a kid, right?
I don't know. There could be a whole farm of smart adults just making babies.
You gotta have
what a life!
Baby making farm, kid raising farm. Sewing farm.
You gotta have a certain amount of babies before you're qualified to be a mom.
Yeah, I mean, she could have. Yeah, so she would have had 1 kid probably because if she's, I don't know, had a kid when she was 18, maybe she became 19, and then she became a mom.
Well, I'm gonna go on the theory that the human society is not. It's like developed, but not super developed. But once you start having a certain amount of kids, your physique and your like lifestyle kind of goes down a little bit. Like, you're not as healthy or you're not as productive as kids or women who have either not had any kids or who maybe have only had 1. So I don't think she's had that many kids. I think she's only had 1 kid, and I don't think she would have had it at 19 years old.
Okay, so it's not Norman then, is what you're saying.
I'm saying it's Phil.
Okay. There is a lot of evidence suggesting Phil. Like, I just wanted to go against the grain.
Yeah, that's what you do.
It's what I do as Jake. From Nerd Blaze.
Okay, Jake, if you were to invent a show, what would it be called, and where would we find it?
If I were just off the spot, Shark Tank, but with real sharks. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
yeah, I like it.
That's pretty sick.
If I had to create a anime watching show, I'd probably create one where you watch bad anime and you go through it and judge for yourself on whether or not the hatred of that anime was just, or if it just got caught in a echo chamber of people judging it. And I'd probably call it Anime Dumpster Dive, and they could probably find it by searching Anime Dumpster Dive on YouTube.
Fantastic. I'll link it in the description below.
If the channel existed?
Yeah, if it existed, I would do that. But yeah, thanks for being on the show, guys, and thank you for listening. This is Nerd Blaze. We have other videos such as this one. We have other weekly discussions, and we have a podcast called Anime Ricochet, where two dudes who know nothing about sports talk about sports anime. So go ahead and check those out. And, like, comment, subscribe. We love the comments. We love talking to you guys down there. So, yeah, please leave your comments. And thanks for listening. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.